QBTS just made another move, and it's interesting. I've been getting a lot of questions asking, is it too late to get into QBTS? And here's the truth. Well, a lot of investors and headlines, they're watching, the momentum right now. What we're looking at and what's setting up next is something that a lot of times we don't see with QBTS. So we're going to take a close look here. And also, quick heads up, a lot of you guys messaged me asking how you could join our virtual stock trading system. It includes the daily live trading in StockMate for free as a bonus. And we just added a payment plan to make things easier. And it's the first link in the description. If you're already in StockMate, check your email. I sent you a special discount. And let's make sure that we get this thing on the right track with QBTS. As you can see, the reality of this recent move is a $19.45 push up, an all-time high today, up there to $19.45. But where it gets interesting, right, is after that push up in pre-market, we saw in our daily live session that, we mentioned this yesterday too. They were saying it could sell down, but in today's daily live session, after pushing up to the all-time high, the market opened right about here, and it had some downward momentum. It's been holding below that EMA, and we didn't trade it for that reason, because the reality is it has a lot of downward momentum. It was looking pretty overextended, and it sold down. It continued to sell down about 7% after opening the day at about $17. So it did find a support here at this level at around 14.80, and now it's pushing back up, potentially trying to break back into that bullish pattern. But when you take a look, at QBTS from the perspective of its momentum, I mean, just take a look since we started covering at $1 share, it's just surged to all-time high pre-market today, around $20, and then pulled back down. This right now is quite the dip. As you can see, the EMA is acting as a resistance there. So it's got to push back up for that bullish momentum to continue. And oftentimes when it's bearish, you're going to see that blue line act as a resistance. And when it's bullish, you see it act as a support. And we did just see it cross back below the EMA. Now it's looking overall like kind of bullish here, right? But overall in the trend, it's looking overextended. And that's what's going on with the technicals. When it comes to QBTS, they're a quantum company. They're a quantum computing company, and they're mentioned a lot of the times with companies like Rigetti, IonQ. We compare them to, or they're in the same conversations as NVIDIA, as they're in quantum, and IBM and Microsoft. And so their market cap is about 4.5 billion, and that's where things get slightly concerning for me. On one hand, you look at QBTS, D-Wave, and the quantum company has seen some really good revenue recently, and we were watching it kind of quarter over quarter throughout the whole year, and the revenue was maybe 2 million, and then it would be 1 million, and then 2 million, but overall that net income would be pretty negative. And then recently they came out with their recent quarter in quarter one, and it's kind of funny because when we just went to QBTS, the conference, there was really good marketing, really good morale in the company while we were there. Had a brief moment to just have a brief conversation with the CEO, and got to talk with some executives there as well as their team. And it's quite a confidence in them as they were there. They were very confident. And then you looked at the revenue they just reported following that conference, and their revenue is up to $15 million in the quarter, so up 500% year over year, 508%. And so that's where it looks good. You're like, okay, increased revenue, net income is now at the lowest it's been in the whole year, up 68% year over year, just negative 5 million. And so things start to look better, beating their earnings per share, beating their revenue. But you have to ask yourself, at least this is how I'm seeing it. Revenue 15 million in a quarter, and the market cap's 4.5 billion. So we're talking about still a negative net income, right? Negative 5 million in the quarter, and 4.5 billion dollar market cap. So market cap is up there, and we're not going to go into the hype articles or buy it before it's too late or sell now or whatever, the hype articles say. But just from a valuation standpoint, even with their current, revenue increasing, that's just something to consider in the financial side of things, right? The negative net income, but the valuation at 4.5 billion is something that I would see as a little bit alarming on the financial side to the market cap. So you just got to kind of, in my eyes, something that would be worth paying attention to. Then you have 7% drop today. They opened at, again, $17, so all-time highs, and then they closed the day at 15.36, so down about 7% on the day. So starting to correct down. We said, on this spike yesterday when they were up to about 17, we said, a sell down to this level and a bounce would be the hyperbole case, which it almost looks like it's doing that. And then the more conservative approach that could make a lot of sense is even a sell down to this $11 to $12 range. And I think that would be a lot healthier from a standpoint of, continuing a trend. Even when we saw this pullback down from 12 down to 5, we're saying, it's healthy, it's keeping its trend. Now it's broken out of its trend. So, maybe a healthy pullback would be down to that $11 or $12 range. Could imagine that would be something we could see. But overall, you're seeing that overextension, and you got to look at it with the financials in mind too, for why you could see that sell-off maybe kick in a little bit more. When it comes to their recent articles and some of the news that they've come out with, there's still a little bit of a lag in getting some results from some of their new partnerships. Like we know they partnered with Boeing recently. So we got QBTS. Let's just search D-Wave. And they partnered with one of their big systems that they sold was to Jülich in Germany, and it was a big sale, right? Millions of dollars. And that's mostly what they're saying is contributing to their recent quarter that was doing so well. And you can see their Advantage 2 system. They just launched the Advantage 2 system, and it's now generally available via their quantum cloud service, Leap, and for on-premises installation. You could see that one of the things that we're talking about with the Boeing partnership, we haven't seen real world results come out of that yet. We know there's a few years back they partnered with MasterCard. Haven't seen the real world come out. Did get to see some applications get run here for Ford Otosan in the manufacturing and for NTT Docomo. But one of the thoughts that was going through my head was, okay, you have these problems that they're solving. Are they the types of problems that wouldn't be able to be solved with GPUs? And the answer is the problems they're solving now, no, they can be solved with GPUs. It's just a matter of possibly, according to D-Wave and what they've published, is that they're more efficient and less energy consumption, less energy consuming for them to run their computers. So what that means is if you look at D-Wave from a perspective of like Computex that just came out with NVIDIA here, and they just 2 days ago announced this, and they were running through their new chips that they're coming out with, and they ran through some of the applications, right? And you can kind of see what Jensen was sharing here. But one of the applications was the type of application that you would expect from a quantum computer. And the application was, it was like millions of robots in a simulator that were in there, and they all were simulating falling down over stairs and over hills. And basically, rather than having robots have to go through that learning phase in the real world, they were running huge scale simulations of robots. And it was the type of thing where you're like, wow, that's got to take a ton of computing power. And it's the type of thing that you would expect to be run on a quantum computer that they were running with their program. So, I'm not saying that QBTS is not legit or anything like that. I'm just saying something to consider is to look at the types of problems they're solving and seeing if those problems are something that they would not be easily replaceable, and that they do have an advantage there. So just keep that in mind. It's something I look for. If you guys have any thoughts about that, always feel free to drop them down in the comments section. It's up to 1945. It's sold down. I would expect a little bit more of a pull down and potentially see before it recovers, because that's just the way I see it. I think it's a little overextended still, and we could see some more sell-off. So let me know your comments in this comment section down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. And again, if you want to join our daily live session where we go live every day at Market Open for trading, it's the second link in the description for Stockmate. If you want to get Stockmate for free as a bonus and get a 6-week Zoom along with our beta access to our new software, then it's the first link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you all. And again, that first link in the description, the payment plan is closing tonight. So if you want to get in before our class starts tomorrow, then it's the first link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.